Hi everyone, so in this video I'm going to show you how to crochet these cute shell stitch jar cozies which can be made in any size. So for my cozies I used a 4mm crochet hook and worsted weight yarn. So thank you very much for watching and please make sure to subscribe to my channel for more crochet videos. So to begin your jar cover, you want to start off by making a slip knot. So to do a slip knot, take your yarn and take your finger and wrap the yarn around your finger once and then twice. Then take the first loop and pull it over the second loop. And then take the second loop and pull it all the way over your finger. You then want to take your crochet hook, go in through this space and pull tight. And there you have a slip knot. So now once you have your slip knot, we are now going to make our foundation chain. And now you can make your foundation chain as long or as short as you like, but the length of your foundation chain will depend on how big your jar is. So you want to take your jar and you want to make your foundation chain big enough to go around your jar. So all the way around it. And your chain must also be a multiple of 6. So you could chain 24, 30, 36, 42, 48. It's completely up to you as long as it is a multiple of 6. So make your foundation chain. So I have just finished making my foundation chain and I ended up chaining 36 and you can see that fits nicely around my jar. And you want to make sure that you don't make your chain too long. So our jar cover will have a little bit of stretch to it. So you want to make sure that the chain fits nice and snug around the jar and that it's not too long. And then once you have done your chain, we are now going to turn our chain, which we have here, into a foundation ring. So what we're going to do is we're going to take where we finished off here, so our very last chain, and we're going to go all the way down to the very first chain that we worked. So go down to this first chain here and work a slip stitch, and that will turn our long chain into a foundation ring. So you want to slowly go along your chain and make sure that you are not twisting it. So it's really important to make sure that there are absolutely no twists in your chain. And then go down to the first chain that you worked and insert your hook into this chain. Then take your yarn and yarn over and pull through both loops on your hook. So work a slip stitch. And there we have turned our chain into a ring. And now we are ready to move on to round 1 of our jar cover. So we are now on to round 1. And to begin this round, you want to chain 1. And this chain 1 does not count as a stitch. So now to begin this round, we're going to go down into this very first chain here. So this is the chain that our chain 1 comes out of. And we're going to do a single crochet. So to do a single crochet, go down into this very first chain, yarn over and pull up a loop. And then yarn over and pull through both loops on your hook. So there we have one single crochet into that chain. And now we are going to skip the next 2 chains. So skip 1 and then 2. And then into this next one here, we are going to do our first shell. So when we do a shell, we do double crochet, chain 1, double crochet, chain 1, and double crochet all into the same chain or into the same stitch. So we have done single crochet, skip 2 chains, and then into this next one we're going to do our first shell. So we're going to start off by doing a double crochet. So to do a double crochet, yarn over and go down into this chain, yarn over and pull up a loop, yarn over and pull through 2 loops, and then yarn over and pull through the final 2 loops on your hook. So there we have 1 double crochet, and now chain 1, then yarn over and go back down into the same chain again and do a second double crochet in the exact same way, then chain 1, and then to finish off the shell, yarn over and go back down into the same chain and do a third double crochet. So there we have done double crochet, chain 1, double crochet, chain 1, double crochet, all into that chain for our first shell. And now we are going to skip the next 2 chains. So skip this one and then the next one. And we're going to continue to repeat that all the way around for round 1. We're going to do a single crochet into 1 stitch, then skip 2 chains, then we're going to do a shell into the next chain, then skip 2 more chains, then repeat that again. Do a single crochet into the next one, skip 2 chains, a shell into the next chain, and then skip 2 more chains. And we're just going to repeat that again and again and again for round 1. So we have done a shell and then skip 2 chains, and now we're going to move on to our next repetition. So do a single crochet into this next chain here. So work 1 single crochet into the next chain, then skip 1 and 2 chains. Then into this next one, we're going to do a shell. And to do a shell, we do double crochet, chain 1, double crochet, chain 1, double crochet, all into the same chain. So yarn over, go down into this chain and do 1 double crochet, chain 1, then a second double crochet, chain 1, and then a third double crochet. So there we have our next shell, and then we're going to skip 1 and 2 stitches. So there we have completed our next repetition, and we're going to begin the next one. So do a single crochet into the next chain, skip 2, do a shell into this next one, like that, and then we're going to skip 2 more chains and just continue to repeat that all the way around for round 1. So I have just finished working that all the way around for round 1. So I have done my last shell here and then skip the last 2 chains. And then to finish off round 1, we're going to do a slip stitch into the first single crochet that we worked. So here is the very first single crochet. Make sure that you're not going into this little chain 1 here, as this chain 1 did not count as a stitch. Make sure that you're going into the first single crochet, insert your hook into this stitch, and then yarn over and pull through both loops on your hook. So there we have finished round 1, and now we are ready to move on to round 2. To begin round 2, you want to chain 1, and this chain 1 does not count as a stitch. So now what we're going to do is we're going to go down into this very first stitch here. So this is the first single crochet from last round, and we are going to work a shell. So just like last round, when we do a shell, we do double crochet, chain 1, double crochet, chain 1, double crochet. So yarn over and go down into this very first stitch here and work 1 double crochet, then chain 1 and go back down into the same stitch again and do a second double crochet, chain 1 and then yarn over, go back down into the same stitch for a third time and work your last double crochet. So there we have our first shell all into that stitch, and then we're going to move on to our first shell here. So this is the first shell from last round, and we're going to go to the very middle of this shell, so in the second double crochet. So here we have the first, second and third double crochet, and you want to go to the middle one, so the second double crochet, and insert your hook into this stitch and work 1 single crochet. So work a single crochet into this stitch. So there we have done a single crochet into the top of that shell. And now you want to skip on to this next single crochet here. So you can see this little single crochet in between the shells. So skip on to this next single crochet, and into this stitch we're going to do a shell. So yarn over, go into the single crochet and do a shell. So like that. So there we have a shell into that single crochet. And now you want to move on to your next shell here from last round. And we're going to go to the middle of this shell, so into the second double crochet. So we have 1, 2, 3 double crochets, and go to the middle one, and into this stitch we're going to do a single crochet. So go into the middle of the shell and do 1 single crochet. And we're going to repeat this all the way around for round 2. Into every single crochet from last round, we're going to do a shell. So double crochet, chain 1, double crochet, chain 1, double crochet. And then into the middle of every shell from last round, so into the center double crochet, we're going to do a single crochet. So we're doing shell, single crochet, shell, single crochet, all the way around for round 2. But we're working our shells into the single crochets from last round, and then our single crochets into the middle of the shells from last round. So I have my next single crochet here, so I'm going to do a shell into this stitch. Like that, and then into the next shell I'm going to go into the middle and do 1 single crochet, and just continue this all the way around for round 2. So I am just coming to the end of round 2. So I have worked my last single crochet here, and then to finish off this round we're going to do a slip stitch into the first double crochet that we worked. So here is the very first double crochet, and insert your hook into that stitch and yarn over and pull through both loops on your hook. So work a slip stitch. So there we have finished round 2, and we are ready to move on to round 3. So we are now on to round 3 of our jar cover or jar cozy. And to begin this round we need to get to the middle of this first shell. So what we're going to do is we're going to go into this first chain space here, so right after the first double crochet, and work a slip stitch. So yarn over and pull through both loops on your hook, and you then want to chain 1, and now you can see we're in the middle of that very first shell. So now to begin this round we're going to go down into the top of this first shell, so into this middle double crochet here, and work a single crochet. So go down into the middle of this shell, so into the center double crochet, and work 1 single crochet. So like that. So there we have our first single crochet, and now we're going to skip on to our next single crochet here from last round, and into this single crochet we're going to do a shell. So yarn over, skip on to the next single crochet here, and do double crochet, chain 1, double crochet, chain 1, double crochet, all into that stitch. And then we're going to go to our next shell here, so move on to the next shell and go to the middle of this shell and do a single crochet. So I'm doing a single crochet into that second double crochet of the shell, and then skip on to the next single crochet from last round here and do a shell. So do another shell into this next single crochet, like that. And we're going to continue to repeat this all the way around for round 3. So it's just the same as last round. We're going to do a single crochet into the top of every shell, so into the middle double crochet, and then into every single crochet from last round we're going to do a shell. And just continue to work this all the way around, so it's the exact same thing as we did last round. So I'm just coming to the end of round 3. So I'm going to finish off by working my last shell into this very last single crochet here. So like that. So finish off by working a shell. And then to finish off this round, we're going to do a slip stitch into the first single crochet that we worked. So here is the first single crochet, and insert your hook into this stitch. Make sure that you're not going into the chain 1, that you're going into the first single crochet, and work a slip stitch. So there we have finished that round and we are ready to move on to the next one. So we are now on to round 4 and the rest of our jar cozy or jar cover is very simple. We are just going to repeat the last 2 rounds that we did, so rounds 2 and round 3, again and again and again. So we have just finished round 3, so now we're going to move on to round 2 again, and then we're going to do round 3, then we're going to do round 2 again, then round 3, then round 2 again, then round 3, and just keep repeating those 2 rounds again and again and again until you feel that your jar cover is long enough, or until it covers your jar. So those 2 rounds are pretty simple and they are very similar. They just start off in different ways. So to begin round 2, you want to chain 1, and the chain 1 never counts as a stitch. And then we begin round 2 with a shell. So you do a shell down into the first single crochet, and then you want to do a single crochet into the next shell here, and then just do shell, single crochet, shell, single crochet all the way around for round 2, and finish off by doing a last single crochet and then a slip stitch into the first double crochet that you worked. And then to begin round 3, you want to do a slip stitch into the first chain space, then chain 1, and that chain 1 never counts as a stitch, and then you do a single crochet into the first shell, so down into the top of that middle double crochet, and then you want to do a shell into that next single crochet, and then just do single crochet shell all the way around for round 3, finishing off with a shell into the last single crochet, and then work a slip stitch. So round 2 and round 3 are very similar. It's just that round 2 starts off with a shell and round 3 starts off with a single crochet. So they're the same thing, just in a different order. So just continue to repeat those 2 rounds again and again and again. So I have finished repeating those 2 rounds, and this is what I have, and this is the length that I want, so this fits nicely around my jar. And then once you have done your very last slip stitch, fasten off, so pull your yarn out and your hook and cut your yarn, and then you want to go ahead and weave all of your ends into the inside of your cover. So just weave your ends into the inside, and then you want to go ahead and put your cover onto your jar. So kind of stand it up like this and put your jar in, and then cover your jar. And there we have finished our jar cozy. So that is it for this video. I hope you enjoyed it and found it easy to follow. Please make sure to subscribe to my channel for more crochet videos. And in the description box below this video, I will leave a link to my Twitter. So if you would like to go and follow me on there, I always like to post pictures and updates of upcoming tutorials. And I would also really love to see photos of your crochet work on Twitter as well. So if you do make these jar cozies, I would love to see a photo of them on Twitter. And in the description box, I will also leave a link to where you can find some of my written patterns if you are interested. So I have made some of my most popular patterns available as written patterns, and I will have a link to where you can find them in the description box below this video. And thank you again for watching. Bye!